Welcome. Today we're going to be making a heart-shaped house in Bloxburg. I know Valentine's Day has passed. It's been almost 2 full months since Valentine's Day happened, but to be fair, sometimes you can't put a timestamp on creativity. I have a few ideas for how I want to make this build, but for the most part, I'm just going to be building as I go, of course, especially with the main rooms. And I'm thinking we go for a modern style since I think that would work well with what I have in mind. I'm going to go ahead and get our shape down and we'll start from there. Alright, it took me a while to get the shape that I wanted, but I think this is what I'm gonna go for. I know it's not like the best looking heart, but I had to make it look this way to get what I wanted out of it. So we're gonna put the entryway here, and then this is just gonna be a little bit of a living area, and then the kitchen is gonna be right here. One bedroom, one bathroom, and that's pretty much all it's gonna be. But I'm hoping that the modern look really helps pull this all together because I am going to be using a lot of gray stone colors and wood colors. So what I'm going to start with is the outside of the entrance. So far, this is the porch. It looks a little odd. It's not exactly what I had in mind. I'm gonna be honest. It looks a little silly, but with hopefully the windows and everything in it, and once we add some outside decorations, it should look a lot better, I'm hoping. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the living area, technically. So we're just gonna get some windows in right here, and then we're gonna work on the entrance, and then move on to the living. So this was my idea to incorporate a lot of windows. Since it's such an odd shape, I figured that going for a modern style would work best because that way we could have this whole living and front area just be completely glass and give it a really open feel. So I want the living room and the kitchen to be like the main feature of this house. I'm thinking we give this living area more of another Genkan look. I don't know if you could consider like a whole room being lowered as like a Genkan look, but that's the best way that I can explain it. So that just means that we're just gonna like lower the floor here a little bit, so then this part here, which will be the kitchen, looks a bit more rised up. Okay, so far we have the kitchen somewhat done. So I'll go ahead and give a little tour so far. This is what we're working with. I'm still working around this staircase right here. It does look a little weird, but so far this is how the kitchen looks. I might change the colors around, but I think for now this is what we're gonna keep it as. I also did a makeshift window. You just like pretend there's herbs and stuff growing right here, and then you close it. I think so far it looks good. I'm not completely sure what I'm gonna do. The living room though, oh my god. But we'll figure that out. I actually just remembered what my idea was for the kitchen, so I'm gonna have to change around the cabinetry a little bit to have regular knobs kind of like this, because I have an idea. The only thing with this that I'm realizing is I don't think it will look right with the cabinets open, but for style points at least, it should work. Alright, so here's how the heart knobs look. I might push them back in a little bit, but for what it is, if you look at it at a distance, it looks more normal. They do look a little janky, but I'm doing the best that I can do. I kind of like this look actually, and seeing it this way, I can tell that my knobs are not centered at all. It has taken me a bit of a minute to get these knobs to look correctly, so I think this is what we're gonna keep them as. Again, they're not the best, they're not exactly what I had in mind, but it's what we're gonna have to work with. Now I have to do this a few more times, and I will show y'all how that looks when I'm done with it. Alright, the kitchen heart knobs are done. You really can't see them, obviously from afar, but up close, you can. I don't really think this adds much to the build, but I think it's a cute detail to have heart-shaped knobs in a heart-shaped house. I'm gonna try to figure out how to add more heart-shaped things into the build as well, especially within the decorations. That was one of the ideas that I had going into this build, is that I wanted to make heart-shaped knobs. That's the main reason why I wanted to build this, and they were a lot difficult to make than I thought they were gonna be, but I am glad that I made them because I do think that they are pretty cute even though that they are still subtle. I'm gonna finish up making the kitchen and then I'm gonna move on to the living room. Alright, here's what I've done with the kitchen so far. I actually really quite like this. I do have to go in and add the heart knobs to the upper cabinetry as well. I also decided to add a sliding door here, so it looks like you have like a back porch technically, which you kind of do, but it's all just really open. And then I made this custom table. I had to go in and work on making this myself. So the wood and the resin are two completely separate images, and I put them together, so it is technically a custom table. So I quite like it. I am still working on figuring out what to do with this because I wanted to add less wood tones but more at the same time, so I'm trying to find a midpoint. I also added another stair right here, and I think that looks pretty cool actually. I feel like that definitely helps with the modern look. And then over here, I moved the bathroom to where it's over here, so it doesn't have any weird angles, really. So now moving on, I'm gonna work on the living room area like I originally wanted to. Alright, so I decided to do a little upgrade to the bathroom, and I think this looks a lot better. I added on an outside shower area. I'm not sure exactly what you would call this, but I have added like at the most privacy that I could add with it still feeling open. So we have these columns. We have these columns within the glass to help add some privacy. I've also added blinds. Obviously that's optional, but if it was in real life, I would definitely want that extra layer of privacy. We also have a canopy up here at the top for another layer of protection and protection from weather. I also added more columns right here, so it kind of gives the toilet like its own little area, and I think this looks a lot better than it was originally. It does feel very open but closed off at the same time, and I think that's great. I also went around and added some more pillars right here. I went and added some decorations by the fireplace, and then I made this little thing right here, so I'll have to go in and edit some more pictures like how I did with the concert poster. I am trying to make this feel as personalized as I can, so as I'm going through and adding more decorations, I'm giving it more personality to it. So with the theme of this being concert musician-y, we obviously have the guitar, and then we have what we'll pretend to be an amp, and then we're gonna add some more of their interests up here. I also made this cute little alpaca planter, and then I added these upper pots and pans. I have this space right here because I'm gonna try and make a custom bouquet. And this is how the outside of the outside bathroom area looks. And this is how it looks from a top view without the canopy. Obviously, I'll go over everything in the house again once I'm done, but I just wanted to do a little recap of what I have so far. Alright, so I went around and I added some more stuff. I decided to add these hanging heart lights outside to give the outside some more character. I also decided to bump out the roof. Since I didn't like how empty this area right here looked, I added a little trash area and more of these columns. So then I went ahead and did a similar thing on the other side. Lovely little custom heart-shaped cutting boards. I also sized down a carpet to make this little pot pan holder, so like when you're cooking and you need to take the pan off the eye, that's where you place it. Another major thing I did was I added this large kitchen and dining room wall divider. It took me a minute to make, but I think especially from right here and right here, it looks really good. You obviously can't see it much from the living room, but I think it actually adds a lot to this build. And I would say that the kitchen and dining room are probably my favorite parts of this build so far, and I'm also really loving the outside shower area. I also made this little incense burner. So this right here is meant to be like the smoke. And I'm gonna be honest, at times I'll look over and I'll think that it's actually smoking. Very subtle, but I like it. I feel like it also adds more character to the build. I feel like something right here in the middle is missing, but we'll go back to that eventually. I've been building for over 5-6 hours, and I still have to finish doing the bathroom and then the bedroom. I have zero idea of what to do for the bedroom, but we'll get there eventually. So for the past few hours, I've been tweaking the living and dining area, and I'm really happy with where it's at so far. I spend way too long on these builds, but I'm actually really in love with this, and I love how the transition from the kitchen to the dining and living is. I think that was a really great idea, and I'm definitely going to introduce this into more of my builds. But I think for now we'll take a break from the living and dining area and actually move on and start working on the bathroom fully. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is how the laundry room has turned out. I made this off camera because I've been recording this session for over 6 hours and other sessions for a few good hours. So I'm probably gonna have like 10 hours of footage altogether with building all this. So I'm gonna finish building the last room, which is the bedroom, off camera so I can actually edit this video. Alright, and this is what I have for the bedroom so far. I'm again trying to bring in the personality and character to the bedroom. So I'm adding some stuff that I would like to add. I'm also doing a mix of feminine and masculine stuff. We're just gonna assume that a couple lives here. And I think so far this actually looks really nice. And I added a little backyard that you can only access through the bedroom. I also added the art string lights around the fencing too. I had zero hopes in this bedroom, and I had zero hopes in what I was gonna do for this bedroom because all of the other rooms look amazing so far, and this was such an odd layout to work with in the bedroom. So the hardest part of this bedroom is probably gonna be this closet over here. It is such an awkward shape and it's not symmetrical or even, so I'm gonna have to play around with this. But so far I'm really happy with how this is going. I'll work on the closet and then I'll update y'all again. So this is what I came up for the closet, and I think this is the best it's gonna get. Since it's such an odd shape, I had to make it look a little awkward. Changing the colors and textures definitely helped. I think it looks good, so I think this is where I'm gonna leave it off. I might add another carpet actually. So I think this is where I'm gonna leave it off for now, and I think I can consider this build done now, and I'm literally so in love with this build. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of this plot, and I'm gonna have to go to work for like a few good more hours now to get all that money back. But I'm gonna look around and see if there's anything else that I can add, do final touches, and then I will do the tour.